There's going to be two questions that you must ask yourself coming into this year. Obviously, this is a new year, right? You must approach this year with a different approach that you've approached any other year from, right? Or any other year by, right? And the questions you must ask yourself, and I'm going to give you the context, of course, because obviously, if you're missing the context and haven't watched the first one, it's not going to make as much sense. So, what games are worth playing? So, essentially, what games are things that you can do, actions you can take, identities you can uphold, essentially things that you can do, pretty much, right? But what games are worth playing? That's something that I don't see enough people. I don't. That's something I don't see enough people taking the time to analyze enough. Because if you look at the decisions that they make within their life, it doesn't look like they're making the best decisions. So they don't understand. They don't take it with enough seriousness of what's actually worth doing in this life. So therefore they choose things that are convenient. They choose things that are comfortable. And obviously, you know the result of that, right? I don't even have to say it, right? The second question you must ask yourself is this: what games do you want to play? Those are two different questions, of course. Obviously, they're very, very similar, but they don't always exactly line up, right? There's going to be certain people that know what games are worth playing or think that they know what games are worth playing, but yet their actions would suggest that they're playing a different game. So, therefore, like I said, those are going to be two questions that you must ask yourself, right? So, when evaluating this game of life, right? When evaluating the people that you admire, that should hopefully align you to figure out what games are actually worth your time, right? And with that being said, from there you can evaluate what games that you actually want to play, right? So I want to say this right here. If you don't answer these two questions, you have only one path to go down. If you do not decide to take this game of life serious, you'll be playing someone else's game. And if you want to play someone else's game, that's completely fine, right? But you must understand, and obviously, of course, whose game are you really playing, right? Maybe you're working at a job right now, or maybe you're working for your friend, right? There's gonna be two different things, right? Or maybe you're working towards something that you actually give a shit about, right? But nonetheless, if you don't answer these things with great clarity, right? With great structure, with enough seriousness, then you'll be playing somebody else's game for your whole life. And like I said, for me personally, that's not a life that I want to live. That's not a life that I would want a loved one of mine to live personally. And with that being said, you must choose what games that you want to play for yourself, or else people around you that might not have the best intentions in mind for you, and society, which obviously does not have the best intentions in mind for you, will tell you what games that you can play, right? You must understand that there's and here's the thing, I don't even necessarily need to get into a great detail about this, but there is a path that society is suggesting for you to go ahead and down, right? It's the education system initially, right? Put your kids into the education system, and obviously that's a bunch of programming that I don't believe is 1,000% necessary as opposed to other information, right? And then obviously from there, what does everybody push on you? Hey, go to college. That's what everybody pushes on you. Oh, if you want to have a good career, you have to go to college, right? You've heard that before, right? Essentially, that is what I would define to be society's game. You can play that game if you would like, but I don't believe that I've seen enough people who have played that game and who has also shown me that they are living a fulfilling life, in my opinion personally, right? And I'm sure there are some exist, and maybe you know some of those people that do exist, where they chose to play society's game and they're fulfilled with their life, right? Now, I'm not one of those people, so therefore I'm not going to suggest for you to go ahead and take that path, because, like I said, it's societally constructed, right? And I don't believe society has the best interests in mind for you and best intentions in mind for you. So, like I said, you need to evaluate that for yourself. Maybe what I'm saying is bullshit. Evaluate it for yourself, though, right? Regardless, you will either pursue a path or a dream of your own, or you will be a part of someone else's dream or path. And like I said, that's not the second, which was you will be a part of someone else's dream or path. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because obviously you have to recognize the person that you'd be doing it for. But for the most part, 98% of people that have chosen a path that isn't their own path, like I said, are pursuing somebody else's dream, right? And like I said, obviously you have to analyze your position. You could be working for somebody that you like, or you could be working for a company that doesn't even really care about you, that you don't really care about. You're doing work that's meaningless, right? And I feel like that's what I really need to emphasize here is: do you want to be spending the human time, the limited human time that you have within this life, doing something that has no meaning to you? You have no You have no interest in what you're doing, but you're doing it for monetary gain, right? That's the path that most people that's a path that most people go down. And of course, there's some circumstances in life that come up where you might have to play society's game, right? Or maybe the best, and I would never say this, but maybe for you, society this going down society's path is the best move on the chessboard. I don't believe that necessarily, but maybe you believe that for yourself. But like I said, I want to emphasize this. I want to reemphasize this, right? You have a very limited amount of human time in this game of life, right? If you do not spend it wisely, like the 90% of people, then you'll be living a less than desirable life, right? And with the internet and with all the possibilities that do exist, the last thing you want to do is settle for something when you could have achieved something greater than that, right? So that is what I really want to emphasize for today's episode. I appreciate you for stopping by. If you're in here, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, make sure and leave in the comments so I can go ahead and respond to you guys. Like I said, if you're watching this, if there's something that I've said that you've liked, make sure you go ahead and leave in the comments for sure. But I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you this question because I feel like it'll hopefully put you in a position to self-analyze yourself, right? Hold on, let me respond to the comments quick. Haven't seen you since last year. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Funny, funny, Jaden, you're funny. To think that a fulfilling life is spending most of your day, every single day, working for the rest of your life is absolutely crazy. And Jaden, you're exactly 1,000% right with that, right? And like I said, more importantly, doing meaningless work that you don't care about, but yet you do because you need a paycheck, right? That's if that's your long-term decision for you to go ahead and do that, you're done. When times get hard, it's going to be really hard for you. That's what it comes down to. At the very least, if you're pursuing your own path, right? If you're making the decisions and you're playing the games that you want to go ahead and play, when struggle arrives, which inevitably will arrive, right? At least you know it's worth it. Because if you're doing something that if you're playing somebody else's game, if you're living somebody else's dream and you truly do not care about it, it's just a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. And like I said, some life circumstances would suggest that you might need to play society's game, but at the very least, you need to be doing anything and everything out in your power that's going to get you out of that game, or you're forever trapped, right? Like I said, a lot of people's self circumstances, it would seem like that is the most convenient answer. Maybe having children early, like I said, maybe going into college, maybe you have some pressures from your family and things like that. And like I said, I understand all of those, but like I said, I didn't grow up with that, thankfully, right? Um, yeah, but that's pretty much what I have to say, man. So, are you playing a game you could care less for, or care less about, or are you playing your game? If you're not playing your game, and the reason why, and let me mention this as well, right? The reason why most people never play their game is because they never know what fucking game they want to play. That's the problem. Which goes back to the questions that I've asked you before, right? Figure out what games are worth playing and figure out what games you want to play. Because if not, somebody's gonna tell you, do this game. Oh, this looks like a cool game. Go ahead and do it, right? And I'm not telling you a specific game that you need to go ahead and play. I'm just trying to open your eyes to say there's unlimited possibilities within this life, right? You need to act as such because if you don't, you're going to be living like everybody else. And if you want to live like everybody else, that's completely fine. It's an easy life. It's very very simple. It's very very comfortable. Or you could be or you could achieve something that you never thought you could achieve, right? And I would love to choose the latter, right? So one question I want to ask you is based on your actions that you've taken in life so far, whose game are you playing? And most people that would answer this would probably say, I'm not playing my game. So you must ask yourself the question, why aren't you playing your game? Why are you not spending more time trying to play the games that you want to go ahead and play? Why are you settling to play somebody else's game? That's what it is, man. That's what it is, man. Like I said, I see it all too often. People never carve out a path for themselves, but you must carve a path out for yourself. Because like I said, if you do not do that, society will say, "Hey, look at this very very convenient path that's very very comfortable, that's very very easy that everybody else hey, look, everybody else is doing it. Go ahead and be the millionth person this year to make that same decision and do that same thing and take that same path." And if what you fail to realize is if you don't construct your path, the path is already constructed for you. And what's the fun in that? What's truly the fun in that when you already have your entire life planned out. It's practical. It's like I said, it's convenient, it's comfortable, and that's cool for some. You know, like I said, the people that actually do something great within this life. We need people like that, right? So if you're one of those people, we need people like you. And if you're not like one of those people, then you need to act as such. Because if you're not acting as such and you're just talking about it and you're not doing anything, you're not applying any action, you're not taking steps in the direction that would lead you towards the games that you want to go ahead and play. Like I said, if you want to be like everybody else, man, go ahead and be like everybody else, man. I'm not. This podcast is not meant for everybody else. So if you want to play society's path, man, you can just click off the podcast, man. Click off the podcast, man. This is only for people who want to achieve something great. This is only for people who want to play their own game. People who actually want to take control of their life and make it better than what it is right now. This is what this podcast is about. Like I said, if you're a person that gets turned off by that, that's completely fine, man. That's completely fine. We need the peasants of society. We need the people that are at the bottom. We need the people who are playing life on autopilot. We need those people. We need those people. But like I said, if you want to be like I said, if you want to choose a different path for yourself, you must start asking yourself more questions. What games do you want to play? What games are worth playing? What games do I see other people playing that seem like they're having a good time? That maybe you would like to partake in that good time with them, right? Carve out a path for yourself, or you'll go down the same carved path that everybody else went towards.